Could an AI chatbot actually give you health advice you can trust? I mean, really trust. And how are experts even checking if they're safe?
Yeah, it's a huge question. And what's fascinating is how they're testing them now. Some data is showing smaller, cheaper AI models might actually be doing better than the big ones in some cases.
Really? Smaller doing better. Okay, that's exactly what we're digging into today then. We're looking at something called HealthBench.
Right, HealthBench. It's a new benchmark specifically designed to see how well these large language models handle healthcare conversations.
And we're pulling our insights today from the article HealthBench, evaluating large language models towards improved human health, which was published in the journal OpenAI.
hmm And our mission really is to unpack this evaluation system. What does it do differently? And what are the early results telling us about AI and health right now?
Because the big challenge, I guess, is how you realistically test AI in something that's complex and, well, human as a healthcare chat, right?
Exactly. It's not like a simple quiz. Think about it. Real health discussions are open-ended, nuanced.
Yeah, not just multiple choice answers or spitting back facts.
Precisely. Older benchmarks often use those simpler formats. They tested factual recall, maybe short answers, but that just doesn't capture the back and forth, the context.
The actual conversation dynamics.
Right. Doesn't reflect talking with someone, understanding follow-ups, that kind of thing.
Okay, so that's the problem HealthBench is trying to fix. It's open source, you said.
Yep, open source.
Mm-hmm.
And built specifically for this complexity.
So how does it work? What makes it, different?
Well, first off, it's built around 5,000 multi-turn conversations. That's simulating a real chat, not just one-off questions.
Okay, 5,000 conversations. That's quite a lot.
It is. But the really critical part, the game changer, is the human evaluation. It's not just algorithm scoring the AI's responses.
Ah, so who's doing the evaluating?
Get this, 262 physicians, a whole panel of doctors.
Wow, 262. Okay, that's serious. What are they looking for? Just if the answer is factually correct.
Oh, it's much deeper than that. They use these detailed conversation-specific rubrics. Think like really specific scoring guides.
Okay.
And the scale is pretty massive. There are 48,562 unique criteria in these rubrics.
48,000 criteria across what sort of things?
All sorts. Different health contexts like handling emergencies or taking clinical notes and making them understandable. And also behavioral stuff, accuracy, of course, but also communication style, empathy. Did it follow instructions?
So it allows for that really rich, sort of realistic evaluation that was missing before.
Exactly. And the data coming out of HealthBench, it shows some interesting trends over the past couple of years.
Like what? What have they seen?
Well, there was initial steady progress. Like GPT 3.5 Turbo scored around 16% initially. Early GPT-4o models hit about 32%.
Okay, progress, but maybe not earth-shattering at first.
Right. But then, more recently, they saw much faster improvement. One model, called O3, actually scored 60% on the main benchmark.
60%, that's a big jump.
It is. But here's that surprising twist we mentioned earlier, the improvement in smaller models.
Ah, yes, the smaller model's doing better.
Yeah, the study specifically noted a model called GPT-4.1 Nano. It didn't just outperform the bigger GPT-4o on HealthBench.
Uh-huh.
It's also reported to be something like 25 times cheaper to run.
Wait, hold on. A smaller, vastly cheaper model is outperforming a bigger, more expensive one on this detailed health benchmark.
That's what the data suggests, yeah.
That feels potentially huge. Like it could really change how these things are developed and used, couldn't it?
Absolutely. It kind of hints that capability isn't just about size or cost anymore. And the benchmark has variations too. There's HealthBench Consensus.
Consensus, what's that focus on?
That zeroes in on the 34 dimensions that the doctors themselves flagged as being the most critical. And then there's HealthBench Hard.
HealthBench Hard. Sounds ominous.
Well, it's designed to test the really tough scenarios. And this is where you see how much work is still needed. The top score on the hard version right now, only 32%.
32%. Okay, so even with the 60% score on the main one, the really hard stuff is still hard.
Very much so, which really clarifies the goal of HealthBench. You know, it's trying to ground AI development in things that actually help people's health, making sure these tools are genuinely safe and effective.
And understanding benchmarks like this, well, it's important for you listening, because this is how the experts are trying to put guardrails in place before these AI health tools become commonplace.
Exactly. And that rigorous evaluation is critical because, as we talked about in our last deep dive, generative AI is already being looked at for regulation as actual medical devices.
Right, like South Korea's move to just go ahead and regulate it that way, which we covered.
So it leads to a pretty important closing thought, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you see a model hitting 60% on the main benchmark, but then only 32% on the hard version. What does that gap really tell us?
About the current limits of AI in healthcare, especially for the complex, high-stakes situations.
And how far we still need to go before we can feel truly confident about widespread use?
Definitely something to mull over.
Absolutely. And hey, if you missed that deep dive on South Korea treating AI like medical devices, you should definitely go back and check that one out.